I'll start my speech in 3, 2, and 1. The main focus of this debate should be on the well-being of the elderly and how society actually perceives aging and wisdom. This is actually crucial as the population of the elderly, as we have said before, in some parts of the world is rising tremendously, meaning that they need more care, treatment, and attention. Notice that this debate isn't about whether the elderly are smarter or we should all listen to them. Rather, it's about which side actually show better gratitude to the elderly and how this glorification of certain narratives affects certain stakeholders. And by this, our side strongly proposed the ideologies that there should be a balance between the youth and the elderly, because the problem here is that youth already receive mass recognition and glorification for their ambitions, while the elderly do not. And we should also pay more attention and care to the elderly. While on the other side, they never state how the elderly can be like paid more attention to in the status quo, and they never actually state the fact on how like respect is going to this end, because they keep on saying that there's a difference between respect and glorification, but we have already framed glorification and we have already said that respect is part of this. So at the end of the day, respect happens on both sides of the house. It's not like our side do not have respect for the elderly at all. And there's this point is that even if you might respect your grandparents, but you still live in a world that undermines the elderly and their contributions, and that's why glorification comes in hand. And if proposition wants to win, they need to explain how without the glorification of these narratives, the stigma against old people, that they are a burden, they're old, and they're of no use, will be lessened. Now let's come to the main clashes in this debate, and I'll prove to you why our side takes the win from the very start. First of all is that which side better pays respect and gratitude to the elderly, which we're the only side that proves to you this. Because first of all, what has proposition said? They said number one is that glorification completely distorts the intellectual ability of the elderly, and respecting is just better and glorification is not needed. Basically, they build their definitions and arguments based on the false claims of and understanding, right? Because glorifying them does not mean treating them as like better, more perfect, more superior. Rather, it means celebrating their contributions and their experiences, and respect, as we said, is also part of this. Similarly, if we glorify other stakeholders such as like mothers, like the glorification of motherhood, or doctors because they are very brave and they have saved many people's lives, or the athlete for their contributions and their discipline, we also take the elderly up for their resilience and their contributions to society as a whole. And the point of this debate is not just simply respect them, since respect happens on both sides of the house. The point here is to promote more recognition for them due to the certain types of stigma that they might receive. And respect alone cannot potentially move society into caring more of them. As we have said, you might respect your grandparents, doesn't mean that society is like paying enough attention to them as a whole. So on side proposition, they fail to prove how the elderly will be better cared for, which is the whole point of this debate. And second clash is we believe there should be a balance in society, right? Because we have talked about how the youth is being portrayed as like very bizarre in social media, and there's this like youth culture in which they are being glorified way more than any other stakeholders in society. If we have this balance, this acts as like a better solution to this, because what this means is very simple. If we glorify the elders, it shows a balance by shifting the focus to other types of success rather than the hustle of youth, such as like patience or long-term contribution. The other side, first of all, they said that the youth isn't as valid anymore, like their viewpoint is not as valid because they are being pressured by the narrative of the elderly, and there will be outdated views, and this will be like categorize people into different like boxes or different categories. We don't think this is pressure because, first of all, the proposition has never talked about how the glorification potentially looks like, and nor explain the trade effect of this, because what they're doing is putting themselves in a slippery slope. This narrative only gets kids and youth to be to be better aware of the elderly and pay more tribute to them. The other side mentioned respect without glorification, which may sound good if we just listen to it like we should pay respect to the elderly. However, in a world that heavily glorifies the youth, removing glorification for the elderly just creates going to be more negative, it's going to be more harmful, and it's just going to be forgetful, because as a society we only cares about what's fresh and we no longer pays attention to the person who has helped us or who has previously contributed to society. And similarly, when society glorifies motherhood but less on the role of fathers in raising children, because both parents deserve the same recognition, even though mothers may stay at home, but like the fathers also go out and help support the families. And this in turn signals families that their elders do matter at the end of the day. And also to talk about how youth are the ones that drive social change and they need more space. And that's the whole point, right? Because if you look at pop culture and social media, as we've said before, or even the workplace, they are being glorified for a lot of things, like simplest as productivity or their speed or like their smartness, while the elderly just receive less recognition. So this will not affect the youth in any way. We don't see the harms in this relating to the youth at all, and they will still change the world no matter what. So in this debate, we should take the win because we proved to you two things. Number one, how the elderly should receive more recognition and how this helps society to better perceive them as a whole. Very proud to oppose.